Hi guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to my channel where I put out videos on astrology. Today we're going to be talking about how to predict your husband and your wife within your astrology birth chart or just within astrology. Now, before I go any further, I want to say that what I'm about to tell you is mind-blowing. It's insane. I'm going to prove why this is true. But I'm nervous of saying it because I know I'm going to have some Vedic boys in my comments because they like to pounce on this because I'm a woman. So I'm going to preface this. I am a woman. I'm going to tell you how to find your wife in astrology, and it's not going to be what any man has ever told you because for some reason, women have been put not only on a lower playing field within like the world, but also within astrology. And I've been trying to figure this out for years. And I've even done some recent videos talking about the wife in astrology and not using this concept, but I've been on it. Okay. Like that's how long I've been on it. Like I'm harder, better, faster, stronger because I've been looking for it. So if that's kind of confusing, this is why. Jupiter is not only the husband in your natal chart, it is also the wife. It's too confusing to say it's any other thing. A lot of times we will say it's Juno. Juno is like not even, it's like a comet asteroid. It's like an asteroid. I don't really know. Juno is not up to par with Jupiter. Now, to give you a little bit of myth and backstory to Juno and Jupiter, they are actually Hera and Zeus as well, but they are twins. Okay, this is a twin flame. Juno, Jupiter. Juno is basically Jupiter as well. She's just the reversal of Jupiter. So when you think about twin flames, that's what it is, Jupiter and Juno. So why is Juno not the most beautiful, luckiest planet in the world? And that's because we don't need to use an asteroid in astrology to predict the wife. We don't need to use a comet. We don't need to use a placement. We don't need to use your Lilith. We don't need any of that shit. We don't need to find Eve. Now, I've studied Vedic astrology, and what they say too, they say that Venus is the wife. Venus is not the wife. If you know anything about Venus, and I know a lot about Venus, I was the divine Venus for a long time. I've studied Venus for a long time. She didn't want to be a wife. Venus, Aphrodite, never wanted to be a wife. In fact, Jupiter, Zeus, made Venus marry Hephaestus because she was too big of a whore. Venus is not a wife. She is like the sacred prostitute archetype, but she's not a wife. And Juno is just a wife. Like that's really what we're coming down to. That's why Juno's a cuckold. She punished the women that Jupiter had sex with, but he cheated all the time and she stayed with him for power. These things are not what women are supposed to be. And it's weird because astrology reflects our actual life so much. And so I really just believe that if we realize all of this information, that we would stop acting as if the wife is different than the husband in your natal chart, especially with same-sex marriages. You know how many times it's like, well, what if I don't want a husband? What am I looking for? You're also looking for Jupiter. It's just it. You cannot put a gender totally on Jupiter because gender is a twin. It just is. Jupiter is luck, it's blessings. And if you get married, that's what you should be married for, luck and blessings. Now, the thing is that even men don't know why they get married. You can ask a million of them why they're married. They literally have no clue. They don't get married for love. It's for socioeconomic whatever purposes. It's because it makes sense in the moment. It's because they've reached a certain age. It's because they want children. It's because she's hot. And then when she loses her hotness, it's over. Or like after she has kids, they don't want her anymore because of the Madonna whore complex. Like we really cannot allow men to define what it is that makes a woman. And this is not a feminist statement. If a man allowed a woman to define herself, he would be so much happier being married to her, and she would actually bring luck and blessings into his life. Now, that on its own is enough for me to understand that when I'm looking for a man, or when a man is looking for me, I would look at Jupiter. I just would. That's just all it is, like Jupiter for both. So with all of that, I know I put out a video using Juno before. And I don't think that you don't have to use Juno. I think it can be an indicator if you're into asteroids and shit. I'm halfway. Like I go back and forth because I think they're fun. I don't think they're wrong. Like when you put in an asteroid, it's going to show you something, but I think that you don't need them. And that's really what I want to say here. So now I want to go in and tell you exactly what Jupiter is going to show you in your chart based on it being a man or a woman that you're looking for, possibly both. But this is why Jupiter, the guru, is for a man, but also how it would split and be for a woman, okay? Women and men, we know we're different in a way, like there's a lot of talk on gender and everything, and I don't need to get into that. Some women are more like men, some men are more like women, but like what makes the feminine energy actually come out in a female, and what makes masculine energy come out in a male, and how can Jupiter reflect itself? Like how can it be both? I want to tell you about that. So there's a few things that you might want to know. Okay. If you think about Jupiter he's the king of, or the god on Mount Olympus, meaning that the male energy is like the fortress, is the one who stays on the head of the throne, right? And his female counterpart is the heart, okay? Now, when we think about the heart, we actually think about the ocean. So there's this like oceanic feminine energy, right? This is also where Aphrodite is born from. She's born from Oceania, out of Uranus's dick, right? And Uranus is the god that made Zeus. Uranus made Cronus or Saturn, who made Zeus or Jupiter. Sorry. And Juno, because she is the same. But Jupiter and Juno, they don't need to be different in name. When we look at Jupiter as defining a woman, you think about it as this is what the man wants as his heart, like the ocean. So she is the ocean. And Jupiter to a woman is the mountain, the head of the hill, like of the Mount Olympus. And when you look at it like that, you can kind of sense and see why a man and a woman would get married, because like why else would, as a woman, why would I marry a man if he doesn't even know why he loves me? It's pointless. A lot of times people will quote this, and so I'm gonna like nip this in the bud right now. Women make men more, but that's not our only goal. Men make women more as well. There's that quote that's horrifying, and every time I post it, someone's like, well, I don't mind it. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. Sorry. But it's that a woman she's superior to a man because if a man brings home groceries, she makes a meal. If a man gives her a house, she makes it a home, etc. Like if a man gives her a sperm, she makes a baby. All of that is really misogynistic and people don't really get it. But the reason why is because a woman doesn't need a man to make a home or a house. A woman doesn't need him to even make a baby. Well, she does, but he needs her as well. So it's like stupid, like that doesn't even fit. And then you got like the groceries, and like women buy their own groceries every day. So it's just stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, because it just means that men are like pointless, to be honest. And that's what women have become to notice. And so women have become to notice that men are pointless because they are, but it's the same back for men. Men have really considered women to be pretty pointless or secondary to them for a really long time. And so knowing this Jupiter energy, I think, is really important, because when you're looking at your chart and the sign and house that Jupiter is in, you can see that this person who encapsulates this Jupiter energy is going to either be my ocean or they're going to be my mountain. And that's what you're looking for. They're the mountain that looks over you or the ocean that creates in front of you. And what would you rather have? So when we think of the man, he's the head. The Jupiter in your chart, if you're looking for a man, he's the head. If you're looking for the heart, you're looking for the female, the ocean. And when I say in the heart too, she's the creative energy that flows, that dances in front of you, that's beautiful, that's strong, that's powerful, okay? And there's different versions of that, obviously. Not every woman is the same, just like not every head of a family is the same. Not every mind is the same. Now, when we also look at the head and the heart, it doesn't mean that a man is more like mental than a woman, because we have to break it down like this. We have to go and say that the Jupiter man is left brain and the Jupiter woman is right brain. And depending on how much you are, kind of depends on the sign, right? So if you're looking, say, for right brain and left brain, you'll start Googling this and you'll read that right brain is more absent-minded. Now, that sounds really, really awful and hurtful unless you think about where a woman's mind is. A woman's mind is in her body, right? And so in a way, it's not like I'm absent-minded. My mind is all over, right? And I understand that because I'm very feminine thinking in the way that I look at things. So what happens to a right-brained, more centric person is that it almost seems like there's nothing in there because it's all here. It's all feeling. And so you can tell me something and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I totally agree with that. And then I'll walk away for a second and then I'll feel it and I'll be like, I don't agree with that at all. But it takes me a second. It's like delayed processing, but it's not. It's perfectly right brain. And that's what allows me to be able to create things, to be able to talk to you about things, to be able to investigate things, because I accept everything, take it in and decide if I like it, if it makes sense in my water, where men are not as much like that, okay? The left brain is more analytical in a different way. They're more very much present in their brain. And because of that, they might be quicker or more thoughtful in that way, but it's just, how it works. And so somebody can be really, really stupid right-brained and really, really smart left-brained. And that left-brain person for a man is going to be like, oh yeah, this is way smarter. But if you're missing your right brain, you're missing the entire balance, the beauty of what even Mount Olympus stands for. Mount Olympus would not exist if the beauty didn't exist beneath it. Another way you can look at this is that Jupiter man is the breath, okay? And the Jupiter female is life. So he breathes life into her. And then she dances back into him. She becomes more because he loves her. And when women are loved, they become more beautiful, more excited. They enjoy their life a lot more. Where a man, when he's reflected back that love, it works out better. If a man just reflects that love on himself and there's no one reflecting love onto a woman, it's harder for a woman to feel loved. That's why a lot of women have deep, deep insecurities, because they're like, well, why do I need somebody to tell me I'm beautiful to feel beautiful? And it's just kind of the way that it is. It's this reflective piece, like the moon and the sun, that the moon doesn't mind being in darkness, but when the moon is lit up, it shines. And if the sun is always shining on itself, then we don't get that time to go inward into ourselves to actually create beautiful things from our sacral chakra or our heart. And that's where the feminine is. And so the man reflecting onto himself is narcissism, the masculine energy, the left brain, when it's just like, no, this is the way that it is, and it doesn't listen to the feminine energy. Things become ugly, they become broken, they become like sandpaper, they become hard. And the woman is alone and just kind of sad and floating around dancing for nobody. And that's these two Jupiter energies and why they mirror. So if you're looking at that within your chart again, imagine you're looking for a woman, like say you are looking for a woman and your Jupiter is in Leo. You're looking for a very, very, very creative, very heart-focused, centered sacral chakra female that wants to dance and create and is probably like really entertaining. But say you are a Jupiter Leo woman looking for a man, or a Jupiter man, or a man looking for a man with Jupiter and Leo. You would want a man who's like a leader and like really strong and really vibrant and really bright, right? The way that the sun sign plays out for man and female, male, female, is the same way that Jupiter is going to play out with the thing that you're looking for when you get married. Now, one thing I've realized about men too is that men are light and they work at the speed of light. Women are sound and they work at the speed of sound. So a woman works and appears to work a little slower. She's vibrational, right? This orgasm is vibrational for a female, and it's kind of like quick for a man because a man is light and she is sound. So when you look at here, I have this light kind of from a lighthouse shining down on to this woman, and you think about the sirens and the siren's voice that exists within the water and the crashing of the waves and the movement of her body. All of that is sound, and the sound waves and how they echo. You can look at, sorry, I was going to say about the echo narcissists too as well, that the woman can echo the man, but she's best when she echoes her perfect pure self. And again, we're going to get to that. So the man is in the speed of light and the woman in the speed of sound. Just because a man can get there quicker doesn't mean that it's doing anything other than shining its light on everything and anything and shining light on gross things. And if a man knows where he wants to shine his light, he will only shine it on the most beautiful thing that he sees. And he'll keep looking at that beautiful thing and he'll shine his light on it. And she will vibrate and show that sound back and call to him with her sounds. And that's what the man is looking for, right? Why does a man want to hear a woman make sounds? Because it means something to him. In the same way with a woman who wants another woman, you want to hear those sounds. And the sounds just take longer to reach you. So if you're shining your light real quick on everybody, you're going to miss the one that's actually for you. And that's what men do. They just keep shining lights, and they kind of shine a light, and there's women in front of the light, and they're like, here, pick me, notice me. I'm like right here. If they have to shine their light a little bit longer, they got to wait and see for the sound that makes the most sense in their head, that vibrates the clearest and the truest for them. The big thing here too, like I said, the 11 energy, Jupiter and Jupiter. Juno and Venus are not equal to Jupiter in your chart. Even Venus blessings are not the same as a Jupiter blessing, and everybody knows that. Venus blessings move through and they move quicker, and that's not the way that the female, the wife that you're looking for that would add value to your life is going to work. We have Venus and Mars in our charts, and these are how we attract, how we desire, how we go after sex, but it's not an equal give and take between, say, Jupiter mirroring on itself, because Jupiter is expansion, and you expand into the other person's life, and that's what a wife and a husband does. So when you are married to somebody, you are married, you get married, but then you start expanding into each other, right? You become closer and more intertwined. That's how Jupiter works. And it's not like Venus is just sitting there while Jupiter expands. You know for a fact that the wife expands back into him, the man, and the husband and the wife, and they just expand into each other. So if you are trying to get something together that doesn't fit, it starts to really weigh on you. And that's why divorces happen, because you're not marrying the person that fits your Jupiter, that you are called to, either by visual energy or by sound. And that's something too I've noticed, and I've actually talked about it on my podcast a long time ago. I don't have my podcast anymore because I'm reevaluating that. But when it came to Cinderella, which is an interesting thing, men are looking for this one thing that they think they're looking for. Okay. So the prince is looking for the woman who fits the shoe. And you're just like, why don't you just look at her fucking face? Right. And the sole of the foot, he's looking for the perfect sole that fits. And he could just look into her eyes and see it. You're not looking close enough, and you don't want to. You have to sit there and you have to wait and look and evaluate. Cinderella, what if she didn't fit the shoe because her foot was a little bit bloated or something, and he just didn't wait around? It wouldn't have worked. And so there's a waiting energy and a feeling out energy that men and women should be doing if they want to be with somebody who expands well into their life, to really make sure that they're not marrying a liar, that they're not dating liars, that they're not with somebody who just doesn't fit their life. And I promise you that Jupiter works in both a man and a woman's chart when they're looking for a husband or a wife, however that works for you. So yeah, and you can also look at this as well, the king and the queen, right, in a chessboard. So the king, he moves one space at a time. The queen moves everywhere. We know about that. Why does that exist in energy, but it doesn't exist with us? Women are kept. Women can't be kept. Women are fighters. They're warriors. We go out and we do things. The big deal here within these energies within Jupiter, the split of it, is that the queen never dies. Okay. If the queen dies, you can send a pawn or to go get that queen back alive. She is not fully dead unless, the game is over. Now, the game is never over until the king dies. So what does that actually mean for these two energies? That the female does not die. She can take a fucking hit, which sounds awful, but it's true. And so when you're looking for a woman that you want to be with, that you want to expand into your life, you got to figure out what kind of destruction you are up against, right? A king would choose a queen based on what horrible energy is attacking his fortress that's going to kill him. And a queen who can withstand a lot more would never choose a king who is weak, who would die as soon as she died, right? Because a king, even after the queen finally loses her last life, the king still has to stay alive. The king still has to fight and be in power and defend himself. So the queen and the king choose each other, right? Based on their power. And that's what equally yoked is about. That's what being equal is. That's finding that true mirror between the two Jupiters, between those two energies. It's what our 8th house is about. It's what our 11th house will be about as well, and of dreams and all of that. So when it comes to the king and the queen and those two energies, a king that is foolish and chooses any woman who's pick me, notice me. He's not looking for someone who's actually on par with him. He's looking for a fuck or a baby maker or company. And he doesn't need that. He needs somebody who is willing to withstand what he is up against. Otherwise, he's alone. And that's just the case. And it's in the reversal the same fucking way. The queen who can fight, who's up against the entire world, she's going to take the hits, she's going to take the beating, and she's going to look at her weak king and be like, I know I just died, but you didn't even stay alive after me. You're fucking flopping around while I'm fighting for us. And neither one of those will work. And that means that one of the king or the queen is carrying the other. And it doesn't mean even that they have to be so like in power. Imagine this. You have a queen who can withstand a lot of like public scrutiny, right? And you have a king who's under a lot of public scrutiny. Those two would work really well together, right? But say you have a king who's like, oh, I really want to make a house. Like I want to be the head of a household. I want to have kids. I want to have my grandchildren over later. And you have a queen who's like, no, I want to like go be famous, right? Like I can withstand that. I can withstand the public scrutiny. That's what's going to happen. She's going to go out and try to be something, and he's going to be like flopping dead in the water because he's like, I didn't want that. And so you look at it and you're like, are you compatible? You're not, but you didn't realize because you weren't looking at your own energies and the things that you wanted at the time. And you expanded as Jupiter expands into each other's life, and you realized it was wrong, and you lost your game of chess against what you were being attacked by. So in the same vein, if a king who's under a lot of public scrutiny or who wants something or wants power picks a woman, he's going like that, just any like woman who wants to be a homemaker or something, she won't be able to withstand the public scrutiny, and he's going to be dead because she's not going to fight for him, right? And you can even flip it to like, what about that king who just wanted a good life, a good, sweet, like comfortable life, and he married a chaotic woman, and that's what he's going to consider her as, very chaotic, because she's adding turmoil to his life. You have to know what you want, and your Jupiter is going to show you that. And I can guarantee you that if you're like, I want that chaos, your Jupiter looks like chaos, okay? And if you don't want that chaos, your Jupiter looks like that. Now, one of the big things, now this is what I said I wanted to get to, and I think it's the most important. When you look at your Jupiter, it's going to enlighten you on what you want, because sometimes we don't even know what we want until it hits us in the face, and then we're like, did I really miss that? Am I stupid? Yeah, we're all stupid. So I'll use astrology to help you. But what you're looking to fully understand, if you are looking for a wife, okay? This is what you are looking for because you want a woman. You want to create your life, build your life, get your ducks in a row for the type of woman to live with you, the type of queen that you want. And what that means, you're not getting all your ducks in a row for yourself or the way society tells you to or anything like that. You're like, what kind of woman do I want to be with? What kind of queen do I want? What kind of person would actually fit with me? And you build your life that way. And a lot of men, I think, they know what kind of life they want, but then they just think that any woman will fit. And so if that's the case with you, you're a man, and that, like what I said before, didn't resonate, then don't build with a woman in mind, build with yourself in mind, and only think of a woman who will fit. Either way, you're building something for yourself with a woman who fits. And you're going to know who that woman is by looking at your Jupiter. Something considerably like that. And if you can't see her, just you don't have to go out and date a million women to find her. You know what you're looking for, somebody who fits your life, okay? Not because she can make you babies or because she looks good. Like those things, there's a time limit on a female for that. You know that, right? So it's stupid to put a woman in a box like that. The time limit for a woman to be able to have babies and be hot is narrow. And that's why men are only attracted to young women, because their brain is only attracted to cooking and babies. And that's stupid. And it's not something that I have to change about a man. I just have to accept that I don't want a man who wants me for that. And that's just it. So that's all a female has to do. Except if a man is doing this and building, so what is a woman or a man who wants a man? If you want a man and you look at your Jupiter to help you, you start to nurture yourself and support yourself. Like you basically start creating yourself in the way you would for the man who is in your Jupiter. A female should not change herself to be the type of person that the guy she likes wants. She should just understand that it's already inside of her to be the best version of herself. When it comes to what a man and a woman do when they're actually searching for each other. So if you are searching for a woman or you're searching for a man, this is the energy of what you're kind of looking for. And it's a little bit weird. And I think this is where we're kind of up as like a society. So the man's up here, he's looking for the woman is down here, and ever changing, ever evolving, chaotic or calm, whatever she might be in the moment, and he's up here. The thing is with the man is he's obvious. He's left-brained, so he's obvious. It's just up front. He's doing his thing. He's going after the things he wants. The woman is not obvious, right? The woman is a secret. She's invisible almost, and she is. And that's, I think, the biggest downfall of society is that we are looking for the light all the time and we're not listening to hear the sound. And so what I want you to know about the female in general, if you are into a female, you're still looking for something that's going to expand correctly into your life, into your heart, into your soul. But no one will know who she is until she knows who she is. Once she knows who she is, everyone will know who she is. And that's just the way of the world, the way of the world. So one of the things that women do is they see the man up here and they go after him, and it becomes a beauty contest. It becomes a social contest. It becomes like who can be the most left brain to impress him, who can become the coolest girl to impress the man, because the man is obvious and she is not. So she wears things for him. She dresses like he wants her to dress. She does all these things, right? And I'm not saying that any of that is inherently bad. It just becomes a show. It becomes shallow. It becomes a facade. She needs to dress for herself, know herself, be true to herself, find her purpose for herself, which is why I think women have become so into astrology more so than men, because they know this inherently, that if we don't know who we are, we're going to just be in a beauty contest trying to get the obvious man. And when we lose him, it's hard, right? It's devastating because we lost the beauty contest, or we lost the will she take care of my house contest, whatever it might be, like, is she the homemaker, or is she the whore? Or whatever. It's about fitting into each other's lives. It's not about, like, when you say being on each other's level too, it's not about that either. You could say that everybody's on each other's level if you want to. We just don't fit. And so when it comes to females and males, if you're looking for a female to be with, to fit, to expand correctly into your life, and you can't find anyone, you don't have to settle. She just hasn't found herself yet, because no one knows until she knows. But once she knows, everyone will know. And when you see her, the man will go after the woman, right? The woman shouldn't be lined up around the block for the man, because the man will just be overwhelmed by choice. And that choice will just be like picking out, do I want the Venus or the moon? Really, that's what it is. Or Venus, moon, or Juno. Like these things that are not adding or expanding or bringing luck or blessings into a man's life. They're lowering his lifespan, and vice versa. And so a woman is Jupiter in a man's chart. She just is. And anybody who disagrees with me, doesn't want to evolve, is not an open-minded thinker. They're not a thinker in general. There's no logic to it. This is a very analytical speech I just gave about how the woman is Jupiter, how she is. The only thing is that she is the reflection of the man. She is Juno. She's a twin, but Juno is a stupid asteroid, so throw it out. She's also Jupiter, because Jupiter looks in the mirror, he sees himself. That's what it is. And so when you find that woman as a man or a woman, you're looking for Jupiter, and vice versa. But she is really invisible till she sees herself. We just don't know who we are, and men do, and that's why they rule the world. Because men are incapable of really listening to women, because they have seen them all, they might say, or they're just looking for the archetype. They're not actually looking for the thing that fits their life. They really are just running around blind. and their light's not shining at all anymore. And so possibly you just have to make that noise, the noise that he can hear that was made for him, and he'll turn his light back up and find you. And then maybe marriage will be saved, and not because it's anything other than twins, Jupiter, 11, age of Aquarius. That's all I have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want more information on this, but that is what it is. Jupiter is both the wife and the husband. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.